A casual hoodie, a luxury showroom, and one jaw-dropping reveal. What happens when a customer service manager misjudges the man who secretly owns it all? Marcus pulled into the parking lot of Elite Motors, the flagship dealership he had recently acquired in sunny San Diego, California. The coastal breeze flowed past the sleek luxury vehicles parked out front, their glossy finishes gleaming under the afternoon sun. He parked his modest sedan in an unmarked spot at the back and stepped out, taking a moment to scan the dealership's facade. He wasn't dressed for attention, quite the opposite. A simple navy hoodie, slightly worn jeans, and sneakers were his outfit of choice. His decision to dress casually was deliberate. He wanted to see the dealership's true colors and experience how it operated when no one knew the new boss was watching. As he walked toward the entrance, he noticed a small group of employees inside chatting near the front desk. The faint hum of laughter and casual conversation carried through the glass doors. Marcus opened the door and stepped inside. The air-conditioned showroom was a stark contrast to the warmth outside, filled with the faint scent of leather and fresh wax. Rows of pristine cars gleamed under the bright overhead lights. The chatter quieted as he walked in. Marcus caught the brief glances exchanged between the employees, their eyes flicking to his hoodie and sneakers. He felt the subtle shift in energy, the kind that spoke louder than words. But he wasn't here to make assumptions. He was here to observe. Then, from across the showroom, she appeared. Angela was a middle-aged woman with sharp features and an even sharper gaze. Her tailored blazer and polished heels spoke of authority, and the clipboard tucked under her arm added an air of efficiency. She approached with purpose, her heels clicking against the polished floor. Her expression was polite at first glance, but there was a tightness in her smile that didn't escape Marcus's notice. "Excuse me," Angela began, her voice cool and clipped. "Can I help you with something?" Marcus smiled, his demeanor calm. "Just here to look around," he said casually, gesturing towards the cars. Angela's eyes narrowed, scanning him from head to toe. Her polite mask slipped ever so slightly, replaced by something less welcoming. "Are you shopping for a car?" she asked, her tone carrying an edge of doubt. Marcus nodded, still smiling. "Something like that." Angela's lips pursed. "Well, we cater to a very specific clientele here. Most of our inventory requires pre-qualification. Perhaps I could recommend." Before she could finish, another employee called out, "Hey Angela, the delivery guy is here." Her attention wavered for a moment, but her gaze snapped back to Marcus as though ensuring he wouldn't wander too far. Marcus raised an eyebrow but kept his tone light. "You're assuming I'm not qualified?" The question seemed to catch her off guard, but only briefly. She recovered quickly, her posture stiffening. "I'm just trying to save you some time," she replied with a forced smile. "These vehicles start at 6 figures. Maybe I can direct you to." Marcus's expression didn't waver, but internally he noted her choice of words. His calm composure remained unshaken, but the subtle sting of her assumptions was undeniable. The moment lingered, tension hanging in the air as Angela stared at him expectantly. Marcus glanced around the showroom, pretending to admire one of the nearby cars. It was a sleek silver coupe with an aggressive design. His fingers brushed the door handle, and he glanced back at Angela. "Nice car," he said simply. Her brows furrowed slightly, but she forced another smile. "It is. Perhaps when you're ready to make a serious inquiry, we can set up an appointment. For now, I'll have to ask you not to touch the vehicles." Marcus stood there for a moment, considering her words before stepping back from the car. He nodded once, hands in his pockets, and gestured for her to continue. "All right, let's hear it. What would you recommend for someone like me?" Angela blinked, surprised by the directness of his question. But before she could respond, Marcus added, "If you think you know what I need, I'm all ears." Her polite facade cracked just enough to reveal the impatience underneath. "Maybe something a little more budget-friendly." I can give you directions to a dealership that specializes in pre-owned vehicles. Marcus smiled faintly, but it didn't reach his eyes. He'd seen enough. That's quite the assumption, he said softly. The statement hung in the air, and for a brief moment, Angela faltered. Then, regaining her composure, she straightened her shoulders. I'll be back with a list of options, she said, walking away briskly. Marcus watched her go, his expression unreadable. He turned back to the silver coupe, his reflection staring back at him in the glossy finish. This was going to be an interesting day. Marcus stood in the center of the showroom, hands in his pockets, his gaze drifting over the lineup of cars. He wasn't one to jump to conclusions, but Angela's dismissive attitude was hard to ignore. Around him, the staff had resumed their conversations, though he caught the occasional glance in his direction. It was the kind of scrutiny he'd become accustomed to over the years, the silent judgment, the coded looks. Angela returned a moment later, her clipboard clutched tightly as though it were a shield. Her brisk stride and forced smile betrayed her annoyance. All right, she said, stopping a few feet away from him. I've compiled a few options that might be more suitable for your situation. Marcus tilted his head slightly. My situation? Yes, Angela replied, her tone clipped. She handed him a printout of pre-owned vehicles, each with detailed descriptions and price tags well below the dealership's typical offerings. These are more accessible models, reliable, economical, and, well, practical. Marcus took the list without a word, his eyes scanning the page. A used sedan, an older SUV, a compact hybrid. His lips twitched in faint amusement, but he quickly hid it, folding the paper and tucking it into his pocket. Appreciate the effort, he said, his tone even. Angela seemed momentarily disarmed by his response, but she quickly recovered, her hands resting on her hips. Listen, she said, her voice dropping as if she were about to share a secret. I'm just trying to be realistic with you. Elite Motors isn't for everyone. I don't want to waste your time. Marcus met her gaze, his expression calm but unwavering. And what exactly makes you think I'm not your target customer? Angela hesitated, but only for a split second. I've been doing this a long time, she said. I can tell when someone's out of their depth. Out of their depth? Marcus repeated, his voice neutral, almost thoughtful. Interesting. There was a flicker of uncertainty in Angela's eyes, but she pressed on. I'm just being honest. It's better to be upfront than to have someone leave disappointed. The lesson, this story reminds us of the importance of withholding judgment. Appearances can be deceiving, and it's essential to treat everyone with dignity and respect. As Marcus showed, humility and patience often reveal true character, and assumptions can lead to missed opportunities. Think about how you approach others in your daily life. Do you judge them by appearances or take the time to understand who they truly are? Share your thoughts in the comments below.